We're live from New Delhi, watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, coming up in the next 30 minutes. Trump justifies his actions on Iran by claiming Tehran was about to strike first, offers that US Navy ready to escort oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran steps up Gulf strikes while Israel launches broad wave of attacks across the country, claims to control almost all Iranian airspace. President of Finland, Dr. Alexander Stubb, to arrive in India to hold talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi on strengthening bilateral cooperation, will attend 11th Raisina dialogue in the national capital. South Africa and New Zealand lock horns in the first semi-final of the IST T20 World Cup at Eden Gardens today. Proteas aim to extend perfect run as Kiwis seek redemption. And Holi, the festival of colours, is being celebrated across the country, bringing joy, unity, love and a spirit of togetherness. And on to the details now. US President Donald Trump on Tuesday said he believed Iran was preparing to strike first, his latest explanation for the Iran attack amid shifting accounts from the administration on why the war started.
We were having negotiations with these lunatics, and it was my opinion that they were going to attack first. They were going to attack. If we didn't do it, they were going to attack first. I felt strongly about that. And we have great negotiators, great people, people that do this very successfully and have done it all their lives very successful. And based on the way the negotiation was going, I think they were going to attack first. And I didn't want that to happen. So if anything, I might have forced Israel's hand.
Well, Trump's timeline for the Iran operation has shifted since it began. He first told the Daily Mail it could take 4 weeks or less, than told the New York Times 4 to 5 weeks. In separate remarks on Sunday and Monday, he left open the possibility that the operation could continue longer until its objectives are achieved. Earlier, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that the United States launched the attack because of fears that Iran would retaliate in response to planned Israeli action against Tehran.
The United States is conducting an operation to eliminate the threat of Iran's short-range ballistic missiles and the threat posed by their Navy, particularly to naval assets. That is what it is focused on doing right now, and it's doing quite successfully. The purpose of this is to destroy that missile capability. Why does Iran want that ballistic missile capability? What they are trying to do and have been trying to do for a very long time.
Well, the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said the U.S. military campaign was laser-focused at dismantling Iran's offensive capacity, not pursuing regime change, though he said Iran's leadership had been dealt a severe blow. And U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Tuesday said that nearly 9,000 Americans had evacuated West Asia following the start of U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran. Secretary Rubio also added that the State Department has been actively implementing evacuation plans in recent days, coordinating charter flights, military aircraft, and expanded commercial flight options in partnership with airlines. He also expressed confidence that the U.S. government will be able to assist all Americans who have requested help departing the region, but cautioned that airspace closures could slow the pace of evacuations.
Rest assured, we are confident that we are going to be able to assist every American. As I told you right now, we have about a little over 1,500, maybe closer to 1,600 Americans requesting assistance. And we know that we're going to be able to help them. It's going to take a little time because we don't control the airspace closures. So as these opportunities begin to open up, we can act very quickly to reach them and get them out of harm.
While U.S. President Donald Trump welcomed German Chancellor Friedrich Merz to the White House on Tuesday, thanking the German leader for his support of the widening U.S.-Israel conflict against Iran. Trump told reporters that Germany had been helping out by allowing U.S. forces to access certain bases and drew a sharp contrast to the actions of Britain and Spain. Trump's comments came on the fourth day of U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran as Tehran closed the Strait of Hormuz and continued its retaliatory missile and drone attacks on U.S. and allied targets across the Gulf region.
We are supporting the United States and Israel to get rid of this terrible terrorist regime. And we are looking forward to a day after, and we have to talk about the strategy. What is following after this regime is away, and we have to strategize on this entire region. And we are having a high interest in common approach and common work and what we can do. And this is important not just for the Americans. This is extremely important for Europe and extremely important for Israel and their security. So we are really looking forward to find ways how to deal about the day after.
Well, Merz told Trump that Germany and the United States shared a desire to get rid of Iran's current regime and said Berlin wanted to see a rapid end to the war. He later cast doubt on whether the U.S. and Israeli military strikes would spark political change in Iran, saying the plan posed some risks.
Well, I think they're doing it. I mean, they're letting us land in certain areas, and we appreciate it. And they're just making it comfortable. We're not asking them to put boots on the ground or anything. I mean, we're just they're a respected country. I have a very good relationship with the country. We have, in particular, now with this leader, with this new leader. I think he's an excellent leader.
Well, the U.S. has severely degraded Iran's air defenses and destroyed hundreds of Iran's ballistic missiles, launchers and drones in its Operation Epic Fury. In a video message, Admiral Brad Cooper of U.S. Central Command said that the U.S. military, that American forces had struck nearly 2,000 targets so far in Iran as part of the largest firepower build-up in the region in a generation. He said the first 24 hours of this operation were nearly double the scale of the first day of shock and awe strikes on Iraq in 2003. He also informed that they are continuing with 24/7 strikes into Iran, and there is not a single Iranian ship underway in the Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz or Gulf of Oman. U.S. has destroyed 17 Iranian ships.
For decades, the Iranian regime has harassed international shipping. Today, there's not a single Iranian ship underway in the Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, or Gulf of Oman. And we will not stop. We will continue to conduct dynamic targeting operations. We're hunting Iran's last remaining mobile ballistic missile launchers to eliminate what I would characterize as their lingering launch capability. Now, in retaliation, the Iranian regime has launched over 500 ballistic missiles and over 2,000 drones. To be clear, Iran is indiscriminately targeting civilians as they launch these missiles and drones. You've seen it on TV. The evidence is crystal clear and overwhelming.
Meanwhile, U.S. identified 4 American soldiers killed in the early days of the war with Iran. The soldiers were killed on the 1st of March 2026 at the port of Shuaibah, Kuwait, during a drone attack. And while Israel's military said it launched a broad wave of strikes on targets in Iran after the Islamic Republic fired rounds of missile barrages at Israeli territory. In the past 24 hours, hundreds of fighter jets and aircraft have been striking hundreds of targets simultaneously in Iran and Lebanon. Since the start of the operation, the Israeli Air Force has neutralized 300 Iranian missile launchers. The military said the targets of its latest strikes include Iranian launch sites, air defense systems, and additional infrastructure. In Isfahan, dozens of targets related to the ballistic missiles array, including launchers and missile storage sites, were struck by Israel. Israel also hit the covert Minzadehi compound that was used by a group of nuclear scientists who operated to develop a key component for nuclear weapons. It said that the IDF tracked the activities at this new location, removing a key component of the Iranian regime's capability to develop nuclear weapons. Also, the Israeli military said it had deployed troops to several locations in southern Lebanon in what it described as a forward defense measure along the border. It struck weapons storage facilities, missile launchers, command centers, and additional terrorist infrastructure belonging to the Hezbollah and Hamas terrorist organizations in the Tyre and Sidon areas. And so Israel is set to reopen its airspace overnight between Wednesday and Thursday. The airspace has been closed since Saturday after U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran. The reopening will allow one passenger flight per hour at first, increasing to 2 flights per hour in the second phase. Israel's Minister of Transport, Miri Regev, said the decision was based on assessments with security officials and comes earlier than planned.
Following the situation assessment I held today with professional officials and security authorities, and after hearing their recommendation, I approved bringing forward the reopening of the airspace, which we had planned to open next week, God willing. The airspace will be open on the night between Wednesday and Thursday gradually and of course subject to security developments.
Meanwhile, Iran has launched over 500 ballistic missiles and over 2,000 drones in retaliatory attacks so far, as per the reports. Israel intercepted the missiles over Jerusalem, West Bank and Tel Aviv. The Central Intelligence Agency stationed at the U.S. Embassy in Saudi Arabia was also hit. The embassy, which is located in the Saudi capital of Riyadh, is among the U.S. sites that have been hit so far in the conflict. Washington's mission in the kingdom subsequently warned Americans to avoid the embassy until further notice due to an attack on the facility. Well, the U.S. President Donald Trump threatened to impose a full U.S. trade embargo on Spain on Tuesday after the European and NATO ally refused to let the U.S. military use its bases for missions linked to strikes on Iran. Trump again referenced Spain's refusal to heed U.S. calls for all NATO members to spend 5% of their GDP on defense and added, Spain has absolutely nothing that we need.
Spain has absolutely nothing that we need other than great people. They have great people, but they don't have great leadership. And as you know, they were the only country that in NATO would not agree to go up to 5%. I don't think they would have agreed to go up to anything. They wanted to keep it at 2%, and they don't pay the 2%. So we're going to cut off all trade with Spain. We don't want anything to do with Spain.
Well, the Ministry of External Affairs has expressed deep concern at the commencement of the conflict in Iran and the Gulf region on 28th of February. It said that India had urged all sides to exercise restraint, avoid escalation and prioritize the safety of the civilians. But unfortunately, in the holy month of Ramzan, the situation in the region has deteriorated significantly and continuously. The destruction and deaths have mounted even as normal life and economic activities come to a halt. There are almost 10 million Indian citizens who live and work in the Gulf region. Their safety and well-being is of utmost priority. Any major disruption has serious consequences for the Indian economy. As a country whose nationals are prominent in the global workforce, India is also firmly opposed to attacks on merchant shipping, where some Indian nationals lost their lives or are missing. Also, India reiterates its call for dialogue and diplomacy. Indian embassies and consulates in the affected countries are in close touch with Indian nationals and community organizations. The Prime Minister and External Affairs Minister have held discussions with their counterparts in the Gulf region. The statement added that the government will continue to closely monitor the evolving situation and take relevant decisions in the national interest. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi also spoke to 3 more leaders from the Gulf region on Tuesday. He held a phone call with the Sultan of Oman, Haytham bin Tariq. He had a conversation with the Crown Prince of Kuwait, Sheikh Sabah Al Khalid Al Hamad Al Mubarak Al Sabah. In both discussions, the Prime Minister expressed concern at the attacks against them and discussed about the welfare and security of the Indian community living there. Prime Minister Modi also spoke to the Amir of Qatar, Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani. He condemned the attacks on Qatar and thanked the Qatari leader for support and care of the Indian community. In the last 48 hours, the Prime Minister has spoken to 8 leaders of the Gulf nations. All right, time now for a short break. We'll be back in a while.
This week on Defense Dynamics, does the Indian Air Force need a 5th-generation fighter now to counter China's Chengdu J-20? With AMCA still in the pipeline, we weigh the pros and cons of the F-35 Lightning II and Sukhoi Su-57. We decode Israel's air defense shield, Iron Dome, David's Sling and Arrow, and what India can learn from it. India inducts INS Anjali, boosting coastal anti-submarine capability, why it matters. Catch the full analysis this Wednesday at 8 p.m. IST only on DD India.
Watching DD India Live, I'm Lipakshi Kuran, and moving on, President of Finland, Dr. Alexander Stubb, set to arrive in India. President Stubb will be the chief guest and keynote speaker at the 11th Raisina Dialogue 2026 in New Delhi. This will be the first visit of President Stubb to India in his present capacity. During the visit, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President Alexander Stubb will hold discussion on strengthening bilateral cooperation across a wide spectrum of areas. They will also exchange perspectives on regional and global issues of mutual interest, including cooperation in multilateral fora. President Stubb will meet President of India Draupadi Murmu as well, Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan and External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. President Stubb will thereafter visit Mumbai, where he will interact with Indian business leaders and attend an India-Finland business event. Also, India and Finland share warm, friendly and multifaceted relations rooted in shared democratic values. Finland is a valued partner for India and the European Union and the Nordic region. Well, moving on, President of India Draupadi Murmu sends her greetings to the fellow citizens on Holi. In a message, the President has said, and I quote, "On the joyous occasion of Holi, I extend my heartfelt greetings and best wishes to all Indians living in India and abroad. Holi is a festival of joy and celebration that conveys the message of social harmony. The festival spreads love and hope in the society and strengthens the spirit of social cohesion. Holi is also a symbol of unity in diversity. May the colors of Holi bring happiness into everyone's life, and together we contribute to building a developed nation," unquote. Well, the markets across Delhi have become a hub of colour, music and festive shopping amid Holi celebrations. For shoppers, herbal colours and water balloons remain the main attractions. DD India's Anu Kaushik brings us more.
From colours to water guns, markets in Delhi have turned into vibrant wonderlands on the occasion of Holi. Shops are flooded with made in India goods amid a push for vocal for local.
Be it eco-friendly colours or flower petals, shoppers have a range of goods to choose from. But Holi is not just about colours and joy, it's also about community spirit.
Holi is a festival of colours, light, brightness. So I just wanted to contribute my deed to some children around me. So they wanted pichkaris, so I thought ki maybe why not. So I bought 3 pichkaris for these sweet children so that they can also enjoy the Holi festival.
माहौल जो है मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है.
Holi is a very fun festival. I am from the northeast and we celebrate Holi with a lot of enthusiasm. I love this festival.
The spirit of Holi is rooted in unity, with colours painting everyone in the same shade of happiness.
Markets during Holi are more than a shopping destination. They bring together people rejoicing in festive spirit. With camera person Shubham Sharma, this is Anu Kaushik reporting for DD India.
And India's northeastern state of Tripura celebrated Dol Purnima with colours and devotion, drawing large crowds to Maharajganj Bazaar. Devotional melodies and cultural performances, including works of Rabindranath Tagore, added a spiritual and artistic dimension to the festivities on Holi. A traditional Ram Tamil parade marked the start of Holi celebrations in Goa's capital, Panaji, as revelers marched towards Azad Maidan with folk dances and live music. Today, Holi is being celebrated across India, marking the arrival of spring and the victory of good over evil. Well, the Holi celebrations lit up Karnataka, Belagavi as well, with devotees offering prayers at the revered Ashwathama temple before joining in the colourful festivities. Social organizations hosted vibrant events at the CPED ground in Belagavi Club as people gathered to celebrate the festival of colours with enthusiasm and joy. And on to some business news now. The dollar rallied to a 3-month high in early trading in Asia on Wednesday, with investors retreating from the euro as the growing conflict in the Middle East sparked fears of a sustained rise in energy prices. The euro traded down 0.1%, extending losses into a third day after earlier hitting its weakest since late November. The US dollar index, which measures the greenback strength against a basket of 6 currencies, was steady at 99.103, its strongest since November 28th. Global oil and gas prices have jumped as the US-Israeli conflict on Iran halts energy exports from the Middle East, with Tehran's attacks on ships and energy facilities closing navigation in the Gulf and forcing production stoppages from Qatar to Iraq. And in sports news, the semi-finals of the IST T20 World Cup 2026 are here, and the excitement is at its peak. In the first semi-final, South Africa will take on New Zealand at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata on Wednesday. South Africa have been one of the strongest teams in the tournament so far. The Proteas are unbeaten, making them the only team with a 100% win record across both the group stage and the Super 8s. The team will now be aiming to continue the winning streak and book a place in the finals. New Zealand, on the other hand, have had a mixed campaign. Despite some ups and downs, they managed to secure a spot in the last 4. The Kiwis will be eager to take revenge for their earlier loss to South Africa and reach the final once again after finishing as runners-up in 2021. Looking at the head-to-head record, South Africa have the upper hand out of 19 T20 matches between the two teams. South Africa have won 12, while New Zealand have won 7. And Team India pacer Renuka Singh Thakur has been ruled out of the one-off test against Australia. The day-night pink ball test will be played at the WACA ground in Perth beginning on Friday. Renuka has been ruled out of the final match of the multi-format series due to workload management. Bowling all-rounder Kashvi Gautam has been named as Renuka's replacement. Kashvi has played 6 ODIs for India, taking 3 wickets and has 19 wickets to her name in 18 Women Premier League matches. The 7-match multi-format series began with a 3-match T20 international leg, which India won 2-1, followed by a 3-match ODI leg where the visitors were thrashed 3-0 by the dominant Australian side. And India's Lakshya Sen stunned China's defending champion Shi Yuki with a thrilling victory to open his All-England campaign in Birmingham. Using sharp court movement and flat whippy smashes, Sen outpaced the reigning world champion in a high-intensity 3-game battle of 23-21, 19-21 and 21-17. Sen's improved physicality and his elbow-driven flat smash designed to reduce strain on his shoulder repeatedly unsettled the Chinese top seed. The shot aimed awkwardly around the wrist prevented Shi from settling into rhythm. The win adds to Sen's strong record at the tournament, where he reached the final in 2022 and the semi-finals in 2024, and reinforces his reputation as a big stage performer. All right, that's all for this edition of DT India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on the DT India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DT India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. A very happy Holi to all of you.